Portfolio. Ba, 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 ba. I'm running the workshop on building a portfolio. Here's some links. Howdy, howdy. I am back. Yes, it's good to see you all again. I have never left because I'm running the stream too. They don't normally schedule us back to back, but I guess we're feeling pretty special today. Oh my gosh. I don't know who I am either. Um, but according to oh, actually my name's not on there. Hang on, I'm still pulling up. I'm still pulling up the slides for this workshop. Give me moments. Da 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 da. Jam hacks. Jam hack resources. I'm still working on even the Discord announcement right now. Whoop. I think that's all we need for today. Nah, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Hello, hello. It is good to see you. Don't mind me clicking around on the screen that y'all can't see. Um, I'm about to fix that. Here we go. Except y'all don't want to see that. Y'all will probably want to see the slide deck. Let me make sure that my whiteboard that I'm going to draw on is kind of empty. Okay, cool. So, hi, welcome. I'm not even sharing my screen yet. Hi, welcome to day one of creating a unique portfolio. The idea of today's workshop is anybody can make a portfolio website, but can you make a really unique one? That is the real question. Thank you for sharing the link. I forgot to do that. Vince MLH, building a unique portfolio, part one. Yes, that is good link. It's also available in the Discord announcements if you haven't already, so you can join us there. Basically, the idea is we're going to learn how to find and create your own like brand identity. So my name is Ryan. I'm a coach at MLH. I do a few things. I think one of the funniest things about like brand identity and me giving this is that like my last name is Lei, and if you haven't already seen my GitHub profile picture is a potato chip, and so is my Discord profile picture, and so I've been very consistent about that. Um, I don't want to say I actually know that much about brand identity, but I know enough to talk about on stream. So we're going to be talking about it today, and we're going to do a little bit of waffling about to try to figure out what it is to do. So, uh, generally speaking, I took like a couple design classes, and I was so enamored by the idea of having like starting off like your projects with good design that I will never start a project without like a design phase. So today we're going to be focusing a lot on design and inspiration and trying to figure out like how to be that unique person, that presence on the internet. Workshops will support each other, but attendance is not mandatory. There's going to be a few other workshops. So you just look for any like web dev things. You're going to see me pop up again, probably. So some technical things we'll be doing today is we're going to learn how to craft your brand identity. Then we're going to learn how to prototype like a designer using a lo-fi prototyping tool in Figma. And then we're going to look at some really cool libraries. We're just going to look at a lot of cool stuff. Agenda is we're going to look at a lot of cool stuff. We're going to learn how to group them together to figure out what kind of cool portfolio website layout that we want to have. And then we're going to figure out what makes them different. We're going to figure out some cool libraries that we can use to be different. And then we're going to start building a small thing with each of the libraries. And then in the next stream, we're probably going to be looking at how to actually start mashing those things together. And we're going to do a little bit of design stuff. You're working on a resume builder. That's really cool. Yeah, feel free to drop that. If y'all have a portfolio, a website that y'all want me to go over and stream and just kind of like gush at, I am more than happy to do that. All right. Let's see. There's not an easy way for me to copy and paste that. So I'm going to do a pro gamer move and just type this in myself. I'm going to pull this up on another browser. Cool. So our friend in chat is made this resume builder, which is pretty neat. What happens if you just generate it with nothingness? That is really cool. I'm just loving all of the projects that you're building. um, okay, and you're currently trying to build a portfolio. Congratulations. Trying is the first step. I've been trying to build a portfolio for the last like 4 years, and I've been kind of struggling on it. So we're gonna be trying to do this like for realsies this time. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that this is like really relevant to y'all. Um, so yeah, I'm hoping that like on the stream, through the stream, I'm going to be able to like build my own portfolio because I've been trying to do this for a very long time. You want to see what my current one is? I think it's ryanlay.super.site. I literally used a no-code builder to build this. And it's all right. It kind of gets the job done, but I feel like it could have like more personality, especially because like I know how to program now. So if you want to see this, I guess, yeah, feel free to take a peek in here. I wouldn't look too hard into it. It's kind of out of date by now. I am Voidburner in Discord. Cool. I've been trying for 2 months. Yeah, it's building a portfolio like website is it's very like challenging for many reasons. I think one of them is like trying to pick out the things that are important to you, um, but are also relevant to employers. And going into the past and like trying to dig up those old projects can bring up a lot of bad memories and good memories, hopefully more good memories. And it feels very much like dressing up, like really formally. But this is like your internet presence. It's kind of like room design. Like you got to put a lot of thought into it, but the longer you spend like putting thought into it, the longer you're going to have to live without like having one. But like I promise you, like once you actually have like a portfolio that you can actually build and like display, like it feels a lot easier. And then once you have like it doesn't matter like what that first one is, just like getting it out there is like a good first step. And then after that, just like working to improve it and making it more and more relevant is probably like the best way to go. Because like building things iteratively, as in like you build like something that's like that gets the job done and then you like add on layers into it. I think that's probably the way to be going about this portfolio thing. So um that's why like my first portfolio really that am like I'm like, yeah, I feel reasonable enough to kind of present this. Is a built from a no-code builder. In the future, I am going to be building like my own custom one. Um, and personally, I would recommend that like you have like some sort of like it could be like a Google Doc or like a Markdown file, or something that like just has a list of all the things that you would put like on your resume, or on your portfolio. Because being able to just like copy and paste things between places helps a lot. Da, 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 da. What do you think of backend focused engineers? It's hard to create catchy portfolios to show off your skills as a backend. That is true. That is something that we're going to have to tackle as we. I'm gonna have to revisit that. Because it is really difficult if you aren't like a very front-endy person. I'm gonna be showing some tools and libraries that they're like front-end libraries, but some of them like have like good like defaults. Um, if you just need like something, I highly recommend you just use like an existing template, and then just change out the things on there, the things that you talk about, to something that's more relevant to what it is that you do. So I guess like in my example, like this has like some character. It's got like a goofy profile picture, and it's okay if you don't want to like have your face on there. I don't think like employers are really like necessarily looking for that. I would personally build the website, like the portfolio site, like for myself first, and not worry about like what the other people are going to be seeing. Like other people are going to be seeing your LinkedIn. That's where you you try to be like professional, right? Like your portfolio site is like your space on the internet. This is your presence, your identity. And so a lot of what we're going to be talking about today is about trying to get like ways that you can get your identity onto the internet. And unfortunately, that means we're going to have to pick up a little bit of just to figure out how to do that. But we're going to be doing it together. So don't worry about it. It's hard. Just need to summarize yourself. Yeah. It really helps to try to like figure out like who it is that you are and like what the things that you want to do are. I'm applying for grad school right now, so like I'm like working in that personal statement, and I finally got like a mission statement that I actually think like summarizes what it is that I'm doing, pretty nicely. I'll pull it up right now. Let me just make sure that I don't have any information that's going to really let's see. Oh wait, wrong thing. Personal statement, grad school programs. Okay, so I'm going to share my grad school thing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're gonna be going for it. I'm going for the grad school things. I want to do more work in computer science education. If you saw my earlier introduction slide, you might have seen that I want to work more in the computer science education space. Um, and there's just so many cool things to do in masters. Okay, I see another quick question. Do you think I should focus on one technology group if you are a mobile developer when building your portfolio, or should you show everything? Um, your portfolio site is whatever it is that you want to see. Personally, I see it as like if I were building like a trophy case of like all of the things that I want to talk about. I personally like to because I think like the developer's journey um is going to be kind of like messy, and so there's going to be a lot of projects that I'm not like super proud of, but I still want to know that like they're out there and that they exist. Um, and so you should definitely put the projects that you are most proud of and that you want to be continuing to do more work in, like at the top, at the very front, and then you can have like maybe another section that says something like maybe it helps to like have a whiteboard. I'm gonna whiteboard this so I don't have to be talking with my hands the entire time. But basically, if you have, like, let's say that this is the portfolio site, right? And you've got like all of the things that you want to be working on. So in your example, you want to work on like mobile dev, um, and you have like all your projects here. I would definitely just like, there's like ways to subtly design things in such a way that you focus on the things that you actually want. And so one of the ways to do that is there's this thing that's called visual hierarchy. And so if you have something that's bigger, people are going to think that that's it, because it takes up more weight in your page, it's going to be more important. And so if you really want people to look at that, then you do that. If there's something that you really don't want other people to see, just like don't put it on your portfolio. Um, Let me actually, I forgot to include this in the slide deck, so I can do this later. But look up visual hierarchy if you want to learn ways to get people to control the way that people kind of look at your website. So contrast, proximity, grouping things together, scale, making things bigger, bigger things get seen earlier. People generally read top down, especially on websites. Having contrast, so like the what is pops up a lot more than the visual hierarchy here, or vice versa, because it's very different from the rest of the text. I feel like this was a bad example because of if they were trying to like demonstrate like visual hierarchy is like the really important keyword, that I feel like they didn't do too good of a job here. There we go. This one I think is a pretty good example of like visual hierarchy, because you will anyway. Okay. Should you build your portfolios directly from differently from resumes? Not necessarily. Personally, I would build my portfolio with whatever it is that I think is important. and build it more for myself rather than for like my potential employers, because they'll be looking at your LinkedIn for all of like your experiences, like your professional stuffs. So I would keep that thing up to date. And I would keep your resume up to date and really cater that towards wherever it is that you're applying for. But your portfolio site should not be catered to everybody else. It should be catered to what it is that you think is important. That's how I would personally do it. I happen to do this based off of like, actually, okay, I say all of these things, and like my current no code site is built more like a resume than it is like the other things, which is why I really wanted to do this workshop, because I want to make my focus more mirror something that like I think I identify with more personally. Okay, keep the questions rolling in if you've got like any other questions. And let me know if I didn't actually address them. I'm blabbing over here. Uh, but yeah, we're going to be learning some small things so that we can pop into these things. And then we're going to actually start building the small things with this library. I'm a big fan of like whenever I'm learning something new, I make a separate repo that I call a sandbox. And in that sandbox, I put in all of the code that just like follows the tutorials. And then from there, I build something different from that very, very small thing from that tutorial. And it helps me, I guess, like compartmentalize things before I start mashing in a whole bunch of like other crap together. I'm glad to hear that I was able to help answer your question. Okay, so now I need to take notes. I'm gonna actually leave open a visual hierarchy tab so that I remember to add this into my notes. There's a good chance that this code space is going to die, and I'm gonna need to restart it by the time we get to there. Um, okay, so we're going to start off by looking at some cool portfolio sites. These are the three things we're going to be looking for if we want to be building something that is unique, because there's like a sea of portfolio templates out there. And so if you're bad at front-end dev or web dev, like me, you could just use one of those templates and just like fill that in with your information. And then as you get a little bit better, do a little bit of cross-learning, you can start customizing it to be more unique and more different. And so we're going to be focusing on are the ones that have already done that, and they've moved beyond templates and like the very basic things to doing something a bit cooler. Um, oh no, I must have missed something there. I oh. Okay, I don't know which one is missing that. Maybe I just need to refresh this page. Oh no, my code space might not be running. Ah, that's why. It's because I need to open up a live server. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. We've already done that. We're looking at these. Okay, cool. So here we go. We're gonna look at this first one. This one's a pretty classic like portfolio page. So we've got like all of the blog stuff. If you caught me in some previous workshops, we were learning about Jamstack websites. And so if you want to see like catch up on those workshops, um, or just get started, here we go. Jamstack, blah blah blahs. I also have this link right here. I haven't deployed the newest site yet, so it doesn't have all of the workshops for, or I guess like the notes for this workshop. But I will eventually deploy it again. These are the workshop things on, like, it was a quick starter to building Jamstack websites. And so Jamstack websites, basically you separate out the content from the business logic of the rest of your website. And so like this person who wrote all of these like articles and whatnot, um, they probably wrote them in like some markdown thing. And then they just have all of these things kind of auto-populate like under notes and like under here and whatnots. I think this is a really good example of just like a clean like blog interface. I forget why I picked up how I found this. I honestly don't remember where I found most of my um, references, to be honest. It's just like I guess like a lot of like looking on YouTube and just like finding other developers like reacting to other portfolios, which is always really cool. Share the slides with you. Ah, yes. So if you actually pull up to this link right here, which is also pasted in the Discord announcements, you'll be able to see the repo where all of my slides are. I built it in HTML code using a library, which I will share with you all very soon, towards the end of this. But yeah, this thing is it's straight up running from this repo, which is like I built my slides in HTML so I could get better at front end things. And eventually, I will update because right now, I haven't updated the or sorry, for some reason, wait, I could have sworn that GitHub Actions automatically deploys updates whenever there's commits. That's why I haven't committed anything. 1 second, let me commit this. Not as just deploying, like committing in the middle of the stream. Updated or added GHW career day 1. Cool. That is descriptive enough for me. I'll know what's up based off of the changes when I see it. Okay, so pretty soon that the other link is going to be updated. Okay, if the slide link is broken, let me know because I'm pushing things randomly to it. Anyway, I've already opened up this really cool website. I really like how clean this one is. Um, it reads really easy, and I really like the design style of this. And we're gonna talk a bit more about like design styles in a little bit. Um, but yeah, I think this one's got a lot of character. The other one actually also had a lot of character too. Um, or not as much. The main way was just like with this little like goat hero icon, which I thought was really neat. The other really cool thing is that they also have a nice like color thing there and a lot of blog stuff. This one's very content heavy. This one's very like stylistic. So this one is a designer and illustrator, which you can kind of tell based off of the website. Okay, so this one um, is really cool. It's kind of like I forget what kind of it's kind of like a business card of sorts because it just has like the very basic content, and then very basically like very broadly it just talks about the things that you did. I really liked how clean this was, and I think this does show like a decent bit of character because this one is pretty neat. Personally, I would prefer something that's more colorful for what it is that I like to do because I like to like draw art on the side too. I think it's fun to do creativity or creative things. I think this one's another really cool one. This one's pretty unique. Yes, minimalist style. The other website was a pretty minimalist one. This one seems like it's going to be a pretty minimalist style too. And then you see that this person's a human interface designer, which is okay. That's pretty rad. But then when you start looking at these things, tell me that's not cool. It's got a preview of the things that they did, and it's got like a little animation. Like it scales with like where your mouse is on the thing, and it's really responsive too. I think the craziest thing is this one is actually mobile responsive too. So if we were to pretend that we are a mobile app, we just click into that. Ah, isn't that so cool? I think that's really cool. I have no idea how they built this. Um, honestly, there's a really great YouTube channel that's called Hyperplexed, youtube.com, and actually, um, I'm not going to do that on stream quite yet because I do not want all of y'all to see what my YouTube feed is like. It changes all the time, so like I yeah, I'm not going to explain myself there. Hyperflexed. There it is. No. Hyperplexed. I spelled his name wrong. Okay, so this YouTube channel, super cool. They recreate like visual effects that they see, like really cool visual effects, all the time. Check out this one I found online. Terminal style. Okay. Herbert Leonard 2 GitHub.io terminal style portfolio page. That is so cool. I'm gonna add this to the list. Oh, what happened to it? Ah, here it is. Okay. Um, all. Wait. About me. Oh. Okay, cool. So I've actually seen a few other like operating system based like portfolio pages too, which is really cool. It was really ironic because one of the ones that I saw that implemented this, they were not like a operating systems person. They just like they were like a creative person, and then they just like made a OS thing, and I was like, that's really interesting, considering like I don't know if they like the portfolio like design like really fits like what it is that that person does. Um, it is super cool to see all of this stuff though. One of your friends' portfolios. Okay. Oh no, not enough W's. Oh, oh, yeah. It is. It is so cool to see these. Oh my word. So I don't think we're gonna be able to get to something like this crazy on stream, but we're gonna try to see if we can uh figure out how to at least design or like get the idea of how to do our own version of one of these things. That is the goal for today, not to necessarily build one of these things. I can't even begin to like talk about like how like I'm not even that good at like web dev to even begin understanding like how this worked. This is just okay. Uh, I'm gonna put this on the list as well. These are some great recommendations. Yeah, it's really awesome to see how man, now I feel bad about like my recommendations, the ones that I pulled up. Like, I don't think they're as cool as this. Let's see. Okay, this one I thought was pretty neat. Um, it's pretty simple. It's clean, and it's got this like it's very work focused. And it has nice thumbnails, which is something that I think we can take inspiration from for when we start designing our own. Da, 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 da. I think we just did this one. We did. This one's a bit different. This one's a pixel art artist, and they just like I don't know what they built this in. Maybe they built their own like custom thing, or they used like an Adobe thing. Um, their entire portfolio is really funny because it's entirely live and it's really fast, which is really surprising. Um, their homepage, it's got this kind of like bento kind of vibe, uh, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But if you don't know what a bento is, it bento box. You'll probably seen it if you look at like any like YouTube or like short form like media contents on like people who like make food things eventually. Basically, it's like these nice little compartments where like each individual box has its own like thing. I think that's another really sweet like design style. So I think this is really cool. There's a lot of really cool websites out there. Our goal is to start making something that's like it's got character and reflects like who it is that we are. This one's pretty neat. I like how this one frames the entire thing as if there's like a chat bubble, and the character icon like adds a lot to it. Especially because like all of these projects, like you can just tell that like they made their own assets. Um, this one, if you haven't seen any 3D portfolio websites, this one's gonna blow your mind, or at least it did for me. Uh, so this person, they do a lot of content on 3JS, which is a oh no, the stream colors are so blown out. Someday I'm gonna get a new computer so I don't have to think about how to fix this. Um, but yeah, basically this person made a whole game as their portfolio, which is so neat, and it's got like a full physics system. Um, this guy's he's got a YouTube channel as well, and so he'll be going about making his new portfolio, and so he's actually just started doing that stream. But yeah, this one it's so cool. It's so cool. Like I can't even. Anyway, um, the design of this one is so. I don't know what else to say. Whoop. Okay, so let's actually start trying to gather up. Actually, I think this is still relevant. So we'll leave that as page one. We'll just say this is the home page. I'll share this y'all with y'all. I'll just share a view link. That way we have something that we can point back to. Copy the view link. So if y'all want to just like hop in here for any reason and just like have your mouse cursor around, go for it. um, GHW career. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit this. We're no longer in the home page. We're looking at types of portfolios. Okay, so actually, you know what? We've got a lot of people in here, which is cool. How trustworthy are you feeling today? Are we feeling today, chat? Like, do we feel like if we were to just like open this up and let everybody start um, putting in the different types of portfolios, do you think it's going to go to crap really fast? I'm gonna start by putting in just a few portfolio types. So we're just gonna make like a nice like square frame. Okay, here's the edit link. So, I think one of the most basic designs is this like I'm gonna call it a business card design, where it's very minimalist. They just have a little bit of information on here. And so sometimes they'll have like a profile picture, and then they'll have like their they'll have their experiences, their contact information. Whoop. contact information, and it looks something like that. And then we have the more like traditional blog template sort of layout. Okay, and so for this blog template layout, it normally starts off with some sort of like a hero banner, which is like the very first thing that people see when they land on your page. And then they normally have some sort of like a nav bar right at the top. All right, Chad, let's make sure that this stays family friendly and wholesome, please. I'm gonna be relying on you for doing this. Oh, thank you, Chad. We're keeping things wholesome in here, which I like to see. Okay, so we've got our hero banner, and then we've got probably like a bunch of experiences, like in a gallery sort of deal. So we can just like put like little boxes here. There we go. I think this is another like really classic template. Um, and then there's a few more like more unique, or I guess not like necessarily unique, but there's another style over here that's just called the bento style, where instead of taking it where it's like nice and structured like this, we make it more like this, where like the experiences aren't like locked away in like a tidy little box. They're just kind of, I mean, they are in boxes, but they're like they're all over the place. Maybe we got something that looks more like that. And I'm sure there's some rules for making like good bento boxes, but I'm not going to be going over that. We're just doing this for the sake of describing like what that might look like. No, somebody already removed the business card. What happened to the box here? Okay. Um, there's probably another style. No businesses. No funny business, please. This is getting a little suspicious over here. Man, this is just like this is just straight up warfare. Sidewall. If you want to edit, go to the second TL draw link. It should be in chat. Okay. Oh man, I'm so distracted now. Okay. What other design styles did I have? Hang on, let me review my notes, which are on another screen. Da, 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 da. Back when I was first trying to figure out like a good portfolio thingamajiggies. Oh yeah, this is another nice layout for a block template. Block template like esque. Um, okay, so I've also seen another template style where they kind of have like a side banner over here, and then you can kind of pick the different like contents that are going to populate the screen. And so I would probably call this something more like a let's just get some lorem ipsum in here. Yeah. So I would call this more of like the blog template. It's just a sidebar. We're just gonna call it a bar. There'd be a hero banner over here. Let's see, what other things do we have? I've also seen a nice like resume timeline sort of layout. I didn't actually pull these things up because I didn't spend nearly as much time as I should have preparing for this workshop. But I think it's a pretty neat idea. Basically, they have a literal line, right? And so it might start off like over here, just goes down like this. And then they just have their experiences here. I think this one's pretty neat, especially like I think what's even cooler is like if you were to do something like along this like timeline idea, but like if you're like doing like a bunch of like different things at the same time, instead of lining it like linearly, what you could do is you could do something like this, where like instead of here, let me actually make this as another variant of this. Whoop. Don't want to cover up your beautiful artwork over there. Okay, so instead of having a timeline like that, what if we made this more like a flow chart kind of deal? Boom, bap, bap, boom. Or this is pretty similar to the idea of something that's called a Gantt chart, which if you're in the engineering or like organizational kind of like worlds, it looks something like this. Basically, like each phase has like a time frame when this thing is going to be like active. You know what? I'm surprised at how civil this is. Congratulations, chat. Gantt chart trauma. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that it's giving you trauma. Um, there's probably ways to make it reduce the trauma. I'm not a psychologist, so we're not gonna dive into that. Thank you for the arrow, whoever drew that. I think a really important thing on building like a nice like portfolio site is that it reflects the work that you're trying to do. And so for the mobile dev out there, why not make a website that's kind of like we've already covered like a few like general templates, but what if we were like okay, for the mobile dev, what if we just made our thing look like a phone, right? And so on here we could just have like our usual blah blah blahs. Let me copy paste the lorem ipsums. Whoop. The little lorem ipsums. Maybe we make it themed like a contact photo. I forget what like contact fields look like. Maybe let's look that up. Contact card. Contact card. Maybe yeah. We just take like one of the other templates and we pop it into the. Oh, somebody deleted my phone. Rude. Yeah, I feel like this would probably be a lot harder to design, but it could be really fun. If you ever got around to it. You know, you'd probably have the same effect if you just did the cursor chat. You can do cursor chat with the / and just start typing things in that way. Um, so for me, I want to do more teaching things. So one thing that might be fun is if I made part of my thing with like maybe a slide deck. Maybe I have my slide deck as the the hero banner of the thing, the slide deck, and then I could just have like my blurbs. And so under the slide deck, maybe we could have, I don't know, maybe we treat this thing as like a timeline slide deck. So you could see like all of the things, and then like this thing might auto update based off the contents of the slide deck at that current state in time. Um, yeah. So something that I've been trying to cook up in my like currently is I've been wanting to do like a TV sort of. That's a nice duck. Sort of like you know there's like old TVs with like the VCRs. Yeah, they don't look very good right now. But maybe we do like a retro TV. Something like this looks a lot nicer. It's a lot more like modern. And like Star Wars um TV. No, what am I trying to look up? Star Wars. What's it called? Office? This one. Whoop! Not that one. Not these like super sterile office desks. I really like this one. Um, like Star Wars has like a lot of this like retro '80s like kind of themes, and so as a huge Star Wars fan, maybe I want to incorporate that. And so the way that I've been thinking about doing it is by taking do do do. Whoever's adding the minimalist things, I thank you for adding new layout ideas. What's up with this Dino QR code? What are the top? Oh, sorry. Have I been ignoring chat? I have been ignoring chat. Okay. Um, Vertical timeline chart, vintage portfolio. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I like those ideas. COD Black Ops 1 interface. Yes. I have no Twitch. Sorry. No worries. Okay. Your question was, what was it again? I'm like kind of nervous to do this scan. Top 3 things we should consider when building a portfolio. Um, I'm no expert, but the things that I would focus on, um, let me just write it down. I would focus on it being kind of like I guess the main point of like having a portfolio is to have your experiences display your experiences, and you want to be able to kind of show like how you can reflect on them, like so if you can talk about like if it was a good experience, a bad experience, I would personally be using it more like a not like a public facing like sorry, I don't know why I didn't have like an answer like prepared for this. So I'm gonna fumble around a little bit while I try to like narrow in on the things that I think makes a really important portfolio. It doesn't necessarily need to have a reflection of your experiences, but the main thing is that you need to make sure that you have you're able to show what it is that you've done. That's the biggest part of like what a portfolio is. And then I think like another really important part is like showing like a little bit of personality in your portfolio. And so the more that you can do that, the more you feel like a human. And I think that being sounding like a human on the internet is and like just like being different and unique, I think is a really nice touch. Because it really shows that you're trying to be different and you're trying to be interesting. Um, what are some other really important things? I mean, we've got like all of these wonderful. Oh, okay. Let's see if my thing is updated. My slide deck. Okay, it has. Uh, I screwed up some paths, and so now it's gonna look a little funny. It's gonna look a little different. Da, 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 da. Where is it? Cool portfolio sites. I would really recommend you take a look at some of these. Wow, that is a massive typo. Yes, in short, highlight your achievements. Oh, okay. I should have been ready. I should have been ready, chat. Highlight your achievements. Look at what other people are doing for the portfolios. Figure out how you could be different, and how you could just like. Okay, one of the things I was going to talk about, and I, where is it? Okay, here it is. It was going to be the next section, but there's the idea of summarizing who you are, and the, okay, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit from the classifying. We're almost done with classifying the different portfolio types anyway. Um, so we can take a look at some design trends. I'm gonna talk about like this really cool class that I took like while I was on a plane. I was just like watching because the plane I was on happened to have like a Skillshare class, and the only reason why I was flying was for like MLH hackathons and stuff. Um, and so this guy, he's a really cool creative. He was his class was on how to find your style. Um, and I found that to be like kind of like a how to find like your identity to put it like out in the world, right? Um, and there was like this quote that he kept on bringing up, and apparently it came from Gordon Ramsay. And the main thing that he was looking for was like, I guess he started making like several analogies that were related to cooking. One of the ones was, oh gosh, okay, wait, what's the quote? Um, the question that was asked of Gordon Ramsay, who's like a famous chef, was, "What do you look for in a good chef?" And his answer was good taste. And the idea behind that is that like, if you are a chef who can't taste, then you'll never know what like good is, and so you'll never be able to improve and make things work. Don't go to TL draw. No, that's okay. Um, thank you for that heads up. Where was I? Yeah, having good taste is what makes a good chef. So the first thing to become like to get better at making more personal, more interesting portfolio websites is by finding and collecting the things that you actually like. And so the main part of the class was this exercise in creating collections of four different aspects of like who you are and like what you do. And so number one was identifying, I guess, like making a collections of things that are unchangeable about who you are as a person. So you could talk about like your culture, where it is that you were raised, what professions your parents were, or whoever it is that might have raised you. And so these are like the things that are unchangeable about who you are, because that is part of, yeah, it's just identity. And then taste is like the things that you like. So it's like video games might be an inspiration, movies, TV shows, books, other people's websites, other developers, anything that inspires you, and that you like, you should put under taste. Experiments are things that you've done and that you kind of like liked. Well, sorry, that's so vague. Experiments are things that like the last time you had any sort of like creative outlet, like if it was like writing, or if it was like photography or drawing or developing websites or like hackathon projects, like that would fall under experiments. These are the things that you've done when trying to make things that like I guess like taste good in this analogy. And then experiences are the things that like happens to you. Um, and the things that like I guess like you've had agency in. So if like you've done like hackathons before, do you like identify yourself as a hacker? Um, which if you're here, then you probably do. If not, that's totally fine. Just like make a collection of the things that are related to things that you've done, or like have happened to you that you've yeah. And then when it comes to like actually like finding your style, you just pick an influence and like an identity. And you just start like mixing and mashing these things together until you get something that is like undoubtedly you. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick step back over to this bit of the slide deck. There are a lot of really cool design trends, as they're called. Um, Personally, I've been trying to get better at trying to figure out how to do like brutalist designs. Um, so neo-brutalism is a pretty fancy word. Brutalism sounds really, I guess, like violent, but it actually refers to very like brutalism, emphasis on materials, textures, and construction. So it's an architectural style, is like how it started off. And so it's got this like one of its defining characteristics is the idea of ba, 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 ba. This is an example of a brutalist website. It's got like a lot of like very clear lines. It's very easy to read and like tell what's going on. So it focuses more on like function and getting things like done than it does on making really complex like styles. So there's a few examples of this here, which is pretty neat. Do. I'll pop that in chat if anybody's interested in reading this. Okay. Neo-brutalism is just saying like this is like the new brutalist style, and so it's characterized by a lot of like bright colors, which I think is really nice to have like a lot of bright colors on the internet. Um, Not everybody has the same taste. Um, and like having like a lot of dark mode things is nearly the opposite of like this neo-brutalist style. Um, and ultimately, like that's why it's really important to start like trying to figure out like what your creative identity is. Da, 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 da. Okay. Anyway, if you're interested, these are a bunch of like other like design styles, and if you find something that kind of like fits the kind of vibe that you like, you have like just look up more examples of these things. Da 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 da. Okay. So I'll share a little bit of what it is that I've been working on, and this is just going to be a view-only link. So no abuse, please. I'll be removing this link anyway afterwards. Love a light and glowy theme. Yeah. I guess we actually do have time to go check out some of the other themes. I didn't actually link everything because like it would take a little bit to find more examples. Neomorphism. I think this one is like I didn't put it in the right order, but basically it's this like really clean. It's generally a light mode kind of theme, and it's a blend between another design style, which is called skeuomorphism, which is the idea of making things that mirror the real life versions, so that you have like a better idea of what to do. Let me actually look it up. Skeuomorphism. I spelled it wrong, but yeah. So the idea is that the original version of the calculator like app, for example, it looks like what like physical apps used to look like, right? Like it's got like the shadows, it's got like the reflections, and it feels very 3D. That's the idea behind like skeuomorphism and like UI design. And so that is evolved a lot into like some subcategories. And so neuromorphism is it takes a lot of the same ideas from that, um, and it just kind of like modernizes it a little bit. And so in between, or I guess, yeah, so it still like maintains like the colors and kind of like reflections, but it seems a lot more like flat. Like it's not as like textured. It's very like sterile almost. Um, okay. So there's also what was the next theme? Do, 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 do. We can close that. Skeuomorphism. Flat design. Flat design also emerged from skeuomorphism, but it made things just like flat. Like there's no shadows. There's like generally like fewer shadows. So it seems very like 2D, two-dimensional as the kind of vibe. But they end up being very clean, which is really nice. There's some like typography. I'll have to type a bit more. But this is the idea of like focusing more on like interesting typography, which is just like the art of like creating good fonts and stuff, and like making a lot of plays with those. So it's the idea of like it's another way of taking like the content, especially if it's like text content, and making that like the focus of your design. Glass morphism. This is like neomorphism, but with glass. So it looks 3D. It looks like it's a sheet of glass that you can touch and all the whatnots. These are generally defined by like their what's it called? Like some layer of opacity and a little bit of blur and all that whatnots. Animation and motion design. This one's really cool. Um, UI, UX. Portfolio. Motion design portfolios. I should have had one ready for this. I didn't. Let's just take a look at this first one. This one doesn't actually do anything with the motion design on the website. Neither does this one. Okay. Motion design website examples. Boop, 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 boop. So funnily enough, like in the visual hierarchy of things that move generally like have like a higher precedence in the thing in of the things that you look at. Let's see. So if you got something that moves on your screen, you're more likely to look at the thing that's moving, right? Ah, here we go. So motion design is like the idea of like animating in a lot of elements of the thing. You still have to have, I guess, like parts of your website that like you still have to have like a general like layout and like some other design themes in it. But motion design is just like it's little things that you can add in. Do, 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 do. Okay, so enough about that. There's the bento. We already talked about the bento. Minimalism is the art of taking as many things out. We already actually had an example of a minimalist portfolio earlier. There's a lot of they're characterized by having a lot of what's called white space, which is like things that aren't content. So it's not there's a lot of breathing room, so to speak. Um, what's the other one that I wanted to look at? Bento, bento portfolios. Here's a good example of one. Very dark modi bento portfolio. It doesn't necessarily have like a super important order. I guess it is important to like take it keep in mind the visual design like hierarchy so that so you know how to direct people to things that are more important. Generally the other layouts are more common because it's easier to not think about like visual design and guiding people down because people normally read top down anyway, so it's really easy. If you do a bento design, it's even more important to know and understand how to use that visual hierarchy to make people actually look at the important things. Okay. I think I might have removed too many things because we still wanted to actually look at. Uh, Here it is. Okay. So, um, I think I'm probably gonna go with like for this workshop. I'm probably gonna go into a more, I guess, like generic layout where we just have like a vertical thing. I saw a old like portfolio page that I thought was really cool. Um, that let me okay, is the TL draw safe to open on stream, or do I need to open this off stream and just purge and delete things? you know, I'll just do it in here because this is itself its own. Okay, so I saw an old design where basically they had for their gallery, they had basically like a hero image like this, and then they had little buttons. And I guess I think they had like the descriptions and whatnots over in the side thing over here. Let's make that a different color so it's easier to see. And then they just made this center hero thing, like the contents for what it is that you're looking at, like a clickable like slide deck. I'm actually just going to remove this since it seems like this is a bit of a cesspool right now. So there we go. It's kind of hard to describe without actually having the thing. But that is something I'm gonna try to take inspiration from, where the contents of like the hero banner change on like a button click. Okay. Um, I don't actually have an example of the thing I was going to try to do here. Pull up a better prototype of what it is that I'm looking at right now. Okay, so I kind of took that very basic like block out of what it is that I wanted for my portfolio website. And so I've already kind of like said that like one of the big design things that I wanted to incorporate was the like some sort of like Star Wars like aesthetic. And so I think something that's like relevant to that is like taking a look at like how like some old like retro 80s things works. And so right now like this thing is a very basic design. Oh my gosh, I didn't even cover this design trend. So there's this Swiss design trend. Actually, I don't know if it's a trend. It's more, yeah, okay, there we go. Design style. This is another style that's it's very clean. It takes a lot of like principles of like minimalism and like some grid design, and it takes a lot of like white space. Um, so there's just a lot of like breathing room. I think one of my favorite references for this, um, this person right here, she did a fantastic breakdown. I'm not gonna let my YouTube thing load so that I don't dox my own recommendations. I really like her breakdown of the Swiss design style. Um, oh, here's another example of a good portfolio site. Selected projects, da 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 da. Yeah, so I was taking a little bit of that juice when I was designing this, and so the main one the main interactive part that I want to talk about is so right here. This is actually just like a pixel art thing that I did in an old workshop of mine. No, it was a mini event at a hackathon. I forget which hackathon it was, but this is one of my first ones, and I was really happy with it. So I'm just using this as a placeholder for my hero banner for the experiences, like the project experience that I have. So what I'm thinking about doing is I haven't actually prototyped this yet. Is I take all of my work experiences and then I have like a little slot maybe up here, and I treat these things as if they're like cassette tapes. And so I draw one out and then I put it into a slot, and then it will populate this thing with what's going on. Can I review your portfolio? Yeah, I'd be happy to. Go ahead and dump it in chat or however you want to share it. Oh, I just realized I might have skipped somebody else's portfolio site. CV worker portfolio weblium dot site. Oh, this is really clean. And it's even got the timeline at the bottom. Yeah, it's single page application. Oh, I wish this was clickable. Okay. All right, let the roasting almost begin. Suit here. Tech. Yeah, that color palette was so clean. Let's just like good choice of colors. This person's very clearly a creative. They even put in like the amount of like I don't know what this percentage is supposed to be. Anyway, all right, let's check this out. We've got a nice mission statement. We've got a nice animation in the background. This is another like portfolio thing that I've seen where they take yeah, it's neat. It's neat. I like the on-scroll animation is slick. Okay. Okay, cool. I think if you're looking for something, I guess like if I'm nitpicking, I would probably like lowercase the m in my because everything else is lowercase down here, and that kind of I would honestly just lowercase this thing too. So it'd be lowercase my CV, just so it's more consistent with these things. I'd also, if you're still in school, replace this with your school account. Because as far as like companies go, they like to make sure that you're a student. So if you have one, just like take advantage of that email. It's better than like doxing yourself on the internets. Check out my CLI. Oh, okay. Let me let me open this up in a new code sandbox. Um, What's a good code sandbox to use? Maybe I can just use code sandbox. I'll forget if this works still. Nope, I don't want to sign in. Here, we'll do it in code spaces. Instead of making a new repo, I'll just take one of. You know what? I'll take this one. Don't mind me hipping and hopping along. Chat.com is now bought by ChatGPT. Oh, neat. Ayushiwa is a dev. Cool. Do you think it's good to show projects that's still ongoing in a portfolio? I think so. It shows that you're currently working on something. I wouldn't show like everything about it. I would probably show and just like say, "Oh, this is still a work in progress." Actually, one of the portfolio sites that I really liked, I'm gonna bring it up. I Last I checked, it was still a work in. They had like, oh, nope, that just pointed me to a 404, so I can't actually pull up their website. I would basically just say, yeah, I still a work in progress. And then if you have something that you want to show, like the GitHub repo, you can just like paste it there. Talk a little bit about what it's supposed to do. It's just a basic site. Yeah, I think I'm overthinking about like what the CLI is. I'll try to check it out later. Is it laggy for anybody else? Are you talking about the website or the stream? Nice. Oh, you listed all of the projects that you work on. Yeah, this is more advanced than anything I can do right now, I'll tell you that. You've even got like an animated GIF for this. The scaling looks a little funky. But you've got a list of all of these things. You got your GitHub in here, the live site. Yeah, I really like your portfolio. I think it shows what your taste is. You really like that kind of like dark coding at midnight kind of vibe. Yeah. All right. Let's look at this other website that dropped in. Maybe I should have started with this a little bit sooner. Ayushiwa.is.a.dev. Did I spell that wrong? There's another S. There we go. Cute dog. You got your tech stack of things that you work on. We've got a nice animation. I think something quick that I would add is I would probably add like a little um, signifier to show that there's more contents like down here. Because you hit the scroll bar, which is a nice touch for that minimalism thing, it's kind of hard to tell that you can actually scroll down some more. Nice, you have a nice map thing there. We got a single page loader. Cool. This image scaling, there's a better way to do that because it's kind of stretched a little bit. Passionate. Da, 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 da. My main stack is do you like to do that? This feels like there's a lot of redundancy between this bit right here and your about me. I'd see if I could just move this about me up here. Because I'm not sure how much this adds to who you are as a dev. This is a neat, like, graphic thing. And then you got your projects down here. Nice. Good stuff. I'm gonna trust that all those links work. Don't be shy. Hit me up. Good stuff. I don't know. I feel like I would probably like location and then right next to the LinkedIn. It seems like you would just put like your LinkedIn. You would like say LinkedIn and then you put the the slug of what your LinkedIn is. So like the very oh, this actually points to Google Maps instead of your LinkedIn. Maybe fix that. Overall, I think this is a pretty cool website. It's got some character. I'd probably lean a bit more into the spaceship Doge vibe. Some loss of sync audio in the stream. I lost my portfolio. Oh no. You're good, man. It's overall it's good. I think it adds a lot of character. I use vanilla to make my portfolio. What libraries does everybody recommend? Yeah, it's a nice animation. Um, so cool thing on like CSS animations like this is that you could actually there's actually CSS generators for that. So if you're like a very like early dev, there's some like here. Let me just pull it up. It's a lot easier to show rather than tell. So if you want to like make like a nice like CSS design, you can just like look up a CSS generator. This one isn't actually animated. There's probably one that will get you an animated one. So yeah, if you like having like this kind of like banner and you just want to copy paste that, you could just do copy copy. uh, I'm sure there's one for animations too. Here we go. Here's a nice animated one. Here's a nice blobby one. I don't know if we can actually animate the rest of the blobs. But this is not so much of an endorsement of any single generator. It's more of just like, yeah, absolutely. I hope you like the feedback. I appreciate you for putting your portfolio on stream. Um, yeah, the main takeaway here is that there are CSS generators, so you don't have to generate all these. You don't have to hand code a lot of all of these things necessarily. It certainly is cool if you can. Okay, sorry, I gotta make sure I don't overload my RAM. Okay, who was next after Ayush? There's this one, ShriShah.me. I like how this is considered a web app. Cool. And you've got artworks too. The image looks a little stretched again. That's a nice effect though. Okay. Where I've worked. Nice bulleted list. I'm not sure what happens here to make it so that this thing is not in line with this, but that is kind of a little jarring. I would probably. What's the best way to solve that? I'd make some sort of a visual indicator that's like, oh yeah, we're changing into a different section. That makes things a little bit like different for this next bit. So I'd probably make this and this like on the same like grid, like this way and this way. And then for the actual gallery itself, I would just let that be expanded and maybe put that in like a separate like container, so it's really obvious. Ooh, I like how this is always there along with all the contact information. Good job listing all your things. I'm not sure what's going on to the thumbnails, but they're not there. It looks like that'll take us to the appropriate links and whatnots. Other small projects. Wow, you've done a lot. Oh no! There's like two projects that got cut off from the show more. Yes, okay. I thought this design looked very familiar. So this developer, this was actually on my list of portfolios, and then I didn't end up showing it. So she's got a really nice like this is a resume based like portfolio. Um, so it's got like a really clean timeline. Um, and it's just a very simple user experience with a couple of blogs, loosely designed in Figma. Good stuff. Yeah, this one's got some good character. If we wanted to add more character, I would probably add a little bit more of the stuff from the hobbies like into this, into like some of the fun feature bits, like this spotlight. Maybe make it like a Legend of Zelda kind of deal. Anyway, I appreciate that you what's it called? Attributed the like design, like the color and the fonts and whatnots to the appropriate people. I would probably also do the same thing with the having a signifier down here to make it so it's like I know that I can scroll down. Like the default action is to scroll down, but it doesn't hurt to have like a little hey, you can scroll by the way, sort of deal. I do want to peek at what your personal artworks are. I also put my creative like artworks thing in Notion. Notion's really good for that. Ah, an art connoisseur. And you're taking advantage of the new layout feature. No, that was just a 3-column layout. Oh, I love this. This has so much more character. I would I would see if there's a way for you to put this into your core website like like on here. I think like even though like this theme is cool, I feel like your sketches add a lot of character. So I would love to see something that like leans more into the sketchiness of like the very tangible kind of like art that you do here. Yeah, because you've got a fantastic like art style. I would love to see more of that on your core website. Hoovian39, I am going to come back to you once we're done looking at the wonderful portfolios that are being shared in chat. Okay, let's see. Ahmed Mahmood.Versell.app. And I spelled it wrong. Where's the typo? Oh, it's in Vercel. I'm so silly. This is what I get for like hand typing everything. Okay. Once again, we're having an image scaling issue. It's a nice and simple layout, and it looks like we can download your resume just like that. Oh, and the resume actually has a different thing. Okay, cool. I like what's going on here. I feel like this is really big. I don't know if it's just me, but like this whole thing feels like I need to zoom out a bit, but it keeps rescaling to. I would personally make it a bit like smaller. Right now I'm not sure what's up with the scaling. Must have done some cool like CSS magic with that. Um, I personally like it like less zoomed in. It looks like you've done some cool stuff. And you've got your technologies, cool. The places that you worked at, cool. Yeah, this is very much like a nicer version of like your LinkedIn, I'll bet. You've got some achievements, all of your badges. Wow, that's a lot. Okay. Oh, hey, the image is scaled properly now. Um, okay, so it seems like it's a small like CSS thing that gets a little screwy based off of the size of your Flexbox container. Um, all these connect things, cool. I think I would personally move these connect things over to the left-hand side along with your other contact information since it's pretty related. And I would probably I like the nice rounded edges. I think it would help a lot if you were to take a look at some of these other like design styles and see if you could take like any one of these really and just apply them. I think the ones that's going to be most relevant for you is probably neomorphism and glassmorphism, and that would really like elevate your page a bit more. And then like find a way to like deal with the scaling with the fonts and the pictures and I guess the layout. Other than that, I think it's pretty good. It demonstrates like who you are. Okay, we got another one. What browser is this? Oh yeah, so this browser is Brave. It's a Chromium-based browser. Um, it's just spelled like this Brave. So it's a fast and secure thing. It's based on Chromium, so I have all of the Chrome apps and whatnot. And it also has a built-in like Tor option, which is pretty neat. Um, and a bunch of other things. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. Okay, so we got more resumes coming or portfolios coming in. Cool stuff. Cindy who.github.io. Ooh, this is our first light themes portfolio. We'd love to see it. Okay. Good hero banner and good portfolio gallery. This looks like you took did most of these come from the same like course? This gives me like really big Odin project vibes. Embed Notion.com. You can use this to embed Notion pages into portfolio websites. sorry. I just want to check this out. Embedded Notion page. Project from my demo portfolio thing is actually just it was a Notion wrapper. This thing right here is the underlying thing is it's all in Notion. I just put a wrapper on it. Okay. Ooh, I like the favicon. I can't really tell what it is. Okay, so as far as this goes, I really like the color choice and the design style. The reuse of the picture is a little obvious. I'd see if I can find another picture over here. Um, there we go. You're a teacher that codes. Oh my god. Okay, that's so cool. I'm so happy to see you here. I've been wanting to get into teaching, so it's really cool to see that. Others were from personal projects that you tried. Okay, cool. This this like oh wait, you've made several of these. So this I guess this is your version 1 and then you made a book thing. I love this. I I don't know about having a banner on both sides to be honest. I would see if I could bring the elements from this into the left-hand side as well. Da, 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 da. And okay, so on this one, I would probably not put my portfolio site as one of the projects on my portfolio since they're already there and they know what's up. I would also probably add like a little bit of a CSS box to each of these individual projects in your portfolio. That way it's easier to see what the difference is, especially if you end up with like it was a little bit hard to see like where this picture started and ended. Um, and right now, I would also probably recommend you add a little bit of curves. So right now, like your contact button has like these rounded curves, which is nice. It doesn't feel like it's going to like cut me if I like ran my finger along it. um, I guess it's just like a psychology thing. But yeah, the fact that you have it like okay, you can have like a bunch of like sharp corners everywhere. Um, and a lot of like brutalist and neo-brutalist designs, they kind of do that. I think in this you would benefit more from having more like rounded corners on your images and maybe on this banner. For this banner, I'd actually probably stretch this out a bit more and just like cover the whole thing like width to width. Um, oh, I didn't even get all the way down here. Okay, so you've got the rest of the professional experience. Got a lot of things going on. Okay. So as far as like this feels too wide, I'd probably bring it down a bit more. There's like a there's some UI like researchers that found that like the optimal like meeting width is about 80 characters, and I think this is a little bit past the 80 characters. So if we were to kind of like resize this to be a little bit less big, yeah, this is a lot more readable than when it's like spans like the entirety of your thing. Okay. As far as this goes, good toggle. Good stuff. Okay. I'm not sure what happened here with this highlight. It seems like whatever container it is, like the development that you put it in, might have decided to be a little funny. Contact name. Okay, cool. A lot of education. Let's see. What's the best way to fix this? I would probably just like add some corners to this thing. In the design world, they're called like pills design. that's gonna look really bad. Or chips, they're called chips. I would take some design inspiration from these chips and use that for the things that fall in under here. Overall, I really like the what's this? Oh, okay. Right. This is the table of contents, so to speak. Okay, cool. Glad you're taking the notes. It is a really good project, and I'm willing to bet that, well, it looks like you probably hard coded a lot of this. Yeah, or it's not hard coded. You didn't use any libraries or many, if at all, which is really impressive. Like this is this is a good like vanilla JavaScript website example. I think a good portfolio is made of projects, so I am doing them first. That is also a good point. Having projects before you can put them on a portfolio is really neat. Um, if you want to have like if you don't have any projects yet and you still want to have a portfolio presence where you can kind of like incorporate like all of the fun things that you're doing, um, I would opt for one of like the business card style like portfolio sites, where you just like have your name, your contact information, and then maybe like a little personal flair to it with like a some sort of like a graphic like animation library, maybe on the backgrounds or like a little character or a sketch or a doodle or something. You can add pills very easily with Bootstrap. Yeah, that's one of the really big advantages. If you haven't gotten too far into your web dev things and you're still building everything with like vanilla, um, start looking into using some sort of CSS framework or library. Bootstrap's a really common one. Um, it comes with a bunch of pre-styled components. So instead of writing all of your own custom CSS, this basically bundles in a little bit of CSS and JavaScript, so that it's really easy for you to just like add a class to an HTML element that you want to use. Let's see, where's an example? Yeah, so yeah, oh, this is if you want to rewrite styles. Where's the examples? Yeah, you'd start adding in classes for anything that you want the elements to start picking up. And so in this example, they're building a nav bar. Um, and it comes, yeah, if you add the CSS styles, it just picks up all of the things. Um, if you're using something that's like not vanilla, like if you're using like React, there's a really famous one that's called ShadCN UI. It basically comes in with a bunch of like custom or like components that you literally just like yoink. Whoop. So yeah, if you write React, you'll know that like a lot of the HTML is written in JavaScript things, um, and this one comes already like pre-styled and it's like pretty much functional if you just copy and paste the code. And this is literally the way that it's designed to be used. So those are some ways to get to level up your design things. If you're building something that's like really simple, I like to use Pigo CSS. There's links to like my basic like suggestions on like getting a head start on building with like frameworks in my Jamstack website. So if you just pop over here and instead of looking at this, you just look at this. These will dive into a bit more of some of my other recommendations. Okay. With that said, I think there's another portfolio in here. Yeah, I don't know how to fix the contrast. I'm so sorry. Um, I've tried like if you know how to fix this, let me know because it's gonna be like this for a little bit. I'm not sure because like on Figma it seems like it's okay, but some other websites it's kind of a little biffy. Okay. So next up is DanielChamner.com. Oh, okay. Um, so just as a heads up, this site doesn't load anything. Oh, no, it does. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like taking its like animating in bit on scroll or not. Okay, I like the icon to tell me to move on. That's good. It looks like the target missed a little bit, and that is probably I've seen this issue in CSS before, and I always forget what the solution is. Um, that is a CSS grid problem. Okay, so you're a product designer. Oh, so basically what's happening right now is you've like this isn't grabbable, which means that like your search engine optimization, like web crawlers won't be able to find this. I would replace this instead of having that as an image. I would make that like actual text. Okay, cool. So you've got a kind of what's the design style? This is a Bauhaus, Bauhaus, Bauhaus. Pardon me. I'm just going to grab the thing and Bauhaus. You got some of these vibes. Uh, so I would take a look at some Bauhaus other styles. I think that's what you're trying for with this nice like corner thing, and I really like that. So keep going with that. Skills, good stuff. Weakness. I don't know that I would list out my weakness. Um, like that. There's probably other ways to incorporate your philosophy without like stating it as a weakness explicitly. I like your background. Okay. I would love to see if there's a way for you to make your portfolio site more of a story than necessarily just a place for you to put your projects. In fact, I would love to see like if your background is in storytelling and graphic design, if there's anything that you can show that really demonstrates the things that like your background are, I would try to incorporate that into your resume or sorry, into your portfolio site. Because you've got the case studies, which is good. And let's just like pop into one of these and see like if you're able to do the stories there too. Good job with trying to figure out the loading um, thing there. Okay, hang on. Let me catch up on this. Okay. Oh yeah, the GHW link manager. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad I could help. Bootstrap. Sorry, wait. Let me catch up on the notes. Do, 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 do. Resume builder. Bootstrap has great documentation. This is true. Once you use templates, you get a little bit addicted. Prefer self-coding more. Yes, that is. Templates are like recipes on the internet. Like you can only follow them for so long, but you can't call yourself a chef until you start making your own and freeballing it a little bit. Okay, I will check out your link manager again on stream. I think we've checked this out before. um, but yeah, we'll check it out again. Okay, let's check out this case study. Do 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 do. Okay. Um. So your case study is good. I'm not focusing too much on the content. Um. Whoa. Sorry, my Siri just decided to keep on talking. Okay, wait. A lot of these seem like they're assets and not like actual links. What is going on here? Oh my word. Okay. I would err away from making most of the website like images, because on the like technical side, like sending images is a lot more expensive than sending like HTML elements. And it's really bad for web crawlers, for which is what like search engines use, um, to be able to like read what's going on. I guess like yeah, if you don't want your website to be crawled, you could just like set up a bot.txt file, bot.txt, or I forget what it is. Yeah, robots.txt. Sorry. Basically any crawler that is kind of ethical, you could just say, hey, please don't read me on here, and they just like won't read you. I feel like the better way to, I would not make everything a image. Um, it just makes things, it makes things slower. Anyway, built my own case studies in Figma and realized they couldn't directly import. I see. Okay. Can we connect on Discord or Twitter? Yeah, feel free to connect on Discord. I don't have a Twitter. You can also find me on GitHub. I guess you've already seen my GitHub right over here. Do 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 do. That's my GitHub. Just totally not me. Okay. Where was I? Okay, so oh, actually in Figma, I have to start over, but I've been learning and working in the meantime. You're doing great, fam. Honestly, your your portfolio is, it's pretty solid aside from all of the pictures, which I'm assuming you just exported from Figma. But in Figma, I'm going to change screens a little bit. Okay, and sharing. Okay, so in Figma, if you actually want to export a bunch of stuff, you can go over to export and change it from exporting an image. Um, wait, where is it? I could have sworn there's a way to export with CSS. Mm, maybe that's only under developer mode. Yeah. So I don't actually have Figma dev yet. By the way, if you want like the Figma Pro experience, Figma has a student like verification process too, which will get you like Figma Pro for free. Um I don't think we don't need a affiliate link for this because Figma for education. It's super easy to just get verified. You just I forget what it is that you need to do. If you're a teacher, by the way, you are totally eligible to do this, and they actually have like teacher programs too. Ba 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 ba. Technically, you'd be okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you don't even have to. Yeah, the verification is a little bit easier than GitHub's. You just need some sort of proof of enrollment. I mean, it generally helps if you have like the same information that you would like the transcripts, or something that verifies that you are indeed a student. But yeah, it's super fast too. That one doesn't take a while to load up. Whoop. Okay, I don't need you guys to see the rest of my thing. Um, Bam, bam. Okay, back to the portfolio. Overall, I think the content is good. I like the design vibes. Oh, I was trying to show you how to export to CSS things a little bit better. Um, there should be a way to export Figma to HTML. Here, I would try out this. This is a plugin to convert your Figma design into HTML. Um, I would definitely try to. I haven't tried it myself, but I do know that there are Figma to HTML like plugins. There should be a few out there that should help out a lot. 420, 480 camera. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am eventually going to upgrade. I just got a new mic and headphones, and so eventually I will build a new PC. I found out that like I have like a because I do photography for fun. I found out that my Canon camera can connect to my laptop and be used as a webcam, but I don't feel that comfortable having like a really like nice quality like picture of my face. Also my like on stream. I just realized I'm not even sharing my stream again. Um, what was I saying? Uh, oh yeah, my tripod broke anyway, so I can't actually like hook up my big like mirrorless camera to be my webcam, so I'd have to get probably another webcam. Okay, let's see. I guess last thing is Malik legacy.github.io GHW MLH link manager. We're going to do a quick shout out to this with all of the um, links that are, I believe they're updated with all of the Major League hacking things. Yeah. Yeah, they all points to the appropriate things. Um, this project right here is something that everybody should visit at least once. This is probably the best portfolio website I've ever seen. I'm not going to show it on stream because that is Way's project. Used Wix before and kind of hate it. Ah, yeah. Okay. So what I would recommend you check out, um, let's see, what designs, okay. So as far as no-code tool builders go, um, let's see. Notion is probably the easiest one to get started with. I know a lot of people who are like really advanced, like UI people. They started using this thing that's what am I talking about? Webflow. Webflow is a really good like no code tool, and it gets you closer to like the raw like CSS and HTML than a lot of other. I say that as if I've used a lot. Um, okay, from my design friends, there's a lot of like demand for like Webflow according to them, and from what I've seen, it looks like there's a lot like it brings you a lot closer to like the raw like CSS styles. So if you can get good at like Webflow, you'll a lot of that should transfer over to doing like raw web dev. And then when you start getting into the web devy things, a really good source of like libraries to check out are under jamstack.org. So this has a bunch of libraries under the folder of site generators that other people use for building any kind of websites. So it's like e-commerce, um, documentation sites, and portfolio sites. Personally, I've been really enjoying using Astro and 11T. If you haven't used any like website generators, I think 11T is a lot easier to get started with. Where is it? 11T. 11T. Yeah, there it is. This one's a really simple one to get started with. So if you're worried about like library overheads, I just get started with 11T. Um, Astra I think is really cool. That allows you to get really into like component based like design where if you have like multiple pages on your portfolio page, you only have to like design things once and then you just reuse it across other things. Da, 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 da. What? Okay, let's see. We're out of time, but I'm going to go through a couple more things since I'm already here. The design style of Brave's website, brave.com. Let's take a look here. Oh, brave singular.com. Okay. Yeah, this is really clean. This has got um it's got some motion graphics, which is cool. Like I don't know if this is a GIF or not. If we I guess we can find out depending on how we I guess if we just right clicked it we'd be able to know, huh? So I think this is actually like done in the app. It may not be an actual GIF, which is really cool. Um this is probably built or like the design style is very it's got some like neo brutalist vibes to me, but it's not quite like all the way there. Because like this right here is very neo brutalist because of like how clean like the distinction is between like the different elements um and like the really bright colors. I would say this is most closely related to neo brutalism. So if you want more, all right, website like yeah, it gives me this energy. Okay, and then last website before I sign off, www.photor.com/design. Create stunning graphic designs. Photo editing tools. Okay, cool. So it's like Canva, Adobe, like that kind of deal. There we go. Okay, it looks like those were all of the links. I didn't end up getting a chance to finish the rest of the things in my slide deck. Let me just see if there's anything else I wanted to talk about. Yeah, okay. We'll revisit this in the next workshop that I run. The next one I'm going to be introducing a bunch of cool libraries anyway, and we'll get some hands-on like coding experience so we can see what it's like for doing a little bit of R&D to see if you want to actually use one of these libraries or not. Okay. I don't want to go too much overtime, but thank you so much for tuning in. I really 3:35 a.m. I salute you for being awake at this time. Okay. Sorry, let me finish my closing remarks. Thank you so much for being on the stream. I really appreciate having all of y'all here. This is my biggest stream yet. So it's very cool to see everybody here. And thank you so much for sharing all of your wonderful portfolio websites. It means a lot to have like this audience participation. Y'all behaved really well with the open like whiteboard thing. And thank you for giving me a heads up to say that the whiteboard ended up really cursed and I couldn't share it on stream. I appreciate that. So my next stream is going to be, I think, I guess we could. Let me pull up the GHW thing before we sign off. So I need to first off give a shout out to the next event, which is a Scriblio mini event. So make sure to hop into the Discord call and hang out with all of our friends over there who's going to be running that. It looks like it's going to be in another hour or so, so we've got a little bit of time. There's some. I would personally like probably go to. Let's see, where is it? Technical interview ones. Technical interviews are always really important. Let's see. I'm pretty sure my next one is going to be on day 5. Dev your portfolio, building unique yeah. So my next workshop's gonna be on day 5. Um, so this one I'm gonna be running, and then I think I have 2 more portfolios. Yeah, 1 and 2. So we're gonna be learning how to do some like custom animations on day 6 with processing, basically. Yes, of course. I'm so glad that y'all had a good time here. Thank you. I appreciate the compliments. Yes, of course. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.